I was looking for a car on the Facebook marketplace when I noticed a very cheap car that caught my eyes. It was a 2004 Toyota Corolla for only $500, and it had some decent low mileage on it. I decided to text the seller, and he replied back so quickly that it felt like some kind of computer or scam. But I was really excited about the car and decided to continue texting about it. We decided to meet the same day after texting each other. My brother went with me so he could help me drive one of the cars home. We met at a Walmart parking lot, and there's the guy. He's in his mid-40s, and when he showed me the car, he was very panicked and seemed in a rush. Then he showed us the title, and his ID did match and that he's the owner of the car. So everything checked out great, and we decided to give him the cash. As soon as he signed the title and got the cash, he didn't say anything and just walked away. My brother asked about the lady that came with the guy, and my brother told me that he saw a lady sitting in the passenger seat with the guy when they arrived. But we just decided to talk about how creepy that guy is, and just laughed, so we just shrugged it off. 2 days later, strange things happened. I got home late one night and shut off the car. I locked the car and walked to my front door. Then the engine started again and I got freaked out. Then when I got close to the car, it shut off. I got scared and ran inside the house since it was already so late. It happened again when I drove back from a family Thanksgiving. It was a 2-hour drive. While driving back late at night, I was the only car on the road. When I suddenly felt my car swerve to the left, I saw a hand letting go of my steering wheel. I step on the brake hard and park on the side of the road, confusedly looking around my car. I was so scared, so I put on loud music so I wouldn't feel so scared. When I got home, I locked my car and ran to my door. As I unlocked my front door, my car's headlights started to flash. And when I looked back, to my horror, a woman was sitting in the passenger seat waving at me. I opened my door and got inside the house. It was late, so everyone was sleeping, so I locked my room and went straight to bed without taking a shower. The next day, 2 police officers knocked on my door and asked me about the car and who I bought it from. So I gave them all the information. They said that they needed to take the car with them for an investigation because it was involved in a murder. They didn't say much and took the car with them. 2 weeks later, the police called me to go and pick up the car. When I got there, they told me the full details of the stories that were involved with my car. They said that the man who sold me the car was arrested because he had murdered his girlfriend in the car. The girlfriend was going to break up with the guy, and he got so angry that he choked his girlfriend to death. A week later, they found her body near a park, next to a bush. So the man confesses everything that he did. It was the same day he sold me the car. I finally sold the car for the same price that I bought it for, and to the new owner of the car, I am very sorry. The first time I heard about it, I decided to download the Facebook app onto my phone. When I started to create an account on it, when I was creating my account, I began to post one old picture of me when I was a teenager. After I was done, I began to get all these friend requests from random people that I never knew, like they were coming from overseas from the whole wide world. I got a random message from this man in his 30s. We kind of chatted, but I wasn't really interested in him that much because I was going through a breakup with my boyfriend of 5 years. I wasn't really ready to move on that fast. Also, I was pretty new to Facebook as I was never really a social media person. I didn't have that much time on social media. I was always more of an in-person person. A few days later, I started receiving more and more messages from that same guy. I wasn't sure if he was trying to be my friend or a creep because I felt that he would be on Facebook 24/7 even when I was not on. He would cruise on it until I came on. I kind of got scared, so I would make myself offline all the time so he wouldn't know if I was online or not. When I stopped writing to him or answering him, he kind of noticed I wasn't interested in him. so he stopped writing to me for a while. As I was getting comfortable on Facebook, I started to share some of my recent photos and share more of myself on social media. He started to comment on my pictures and started writing to me, and I guess I kind of played with it. I guess I was using him as a side buddy to release my stress and make myself comfortable releasing myself again, as I was still hurting from a breakup when we started talking again. He started to get really close to me. We actually also started talking on the phone more through the Messenger app. He never showed me his face and always refused to turn on the cam, but I thought maybe he was just shy. I was far from where he lived. It was a faraway relationship. We knew we wouldn't be able to see each other often, or maybe never see each other. As I was viewing his profile, I kind of felt a little off because it seemed like he hadn't updated his status or posted any new pic for quite a while. So I kind of felt odd. As I kept looking at his page and thought to myself, maybe he was just a secretive person who doesn't like to share his private life. When I got to that train of thought, I felt a bit better. We talked more and more, and as I got to know him even better, I started to fall for him. He was a perfect person for me. He was so understanding that I looked forward to talking to him every day. One day I messaged him that I felt better now, and that whenever I think of my ex, I don't feel sad anymore. It took him the whole day to answer me, so I was kind of worried that something might have happened to him. Then later that night he finally messaged me, saying he was really glad that I am much better now. The next day he just stopped talking to me. I was worried, so I kept waiting for him to reply to me, but he never did. It was like he just disappeared. He came into my life and left just like that. Fast forward to about almost a year or so. I had a lot of friends now, usually cousins, close friends, and friends of my friends. One day while I was scrolling through the newsfeed, I suddenly came upon a post that a girl made about her brother who passed away 2 years ago. It shook me up because the guy in the post was exactly like the guy who I talked to a year ago, who disappeared on me. I read the post and it said that today was his second death anniversary, that he suicided when his girlfriend broke up with him. To me that was weird, because he was still talking to me a year ago. So I messaged the girl and told her all about it. She was as shocked as me, so I showed her her brother's messages. She knew that no one had been on his account because he never told any of them his password. In the end, she told me that maybe because when I first created my Facebook profile, I had thought of suicide, so his spirit came to me to prevent that. I felt so regretful. If only we had met when he was still alive, things would be so different. He was someone who I will always be grateful to. My phone broke, so I threw it away, but I have no money to buy another one at full price, so I went to the Facebook marketplace to see if there was any phone for sale at a cheaper price. While scrolling through the list of phones for sale, a listing caught my attention. It was a Samsung Note 8 and cost only $50. The even better thing was that it was seemingly still new. It was only opened but had no scratches or marks on it whatsoever. A new Samsung Note 8 that was only $50 was a very good price. I messaged the person, and he replied back almost instantly. After a few messages back and forth, we decided to meet that day to exchange the deal. When I met with him, I could tell he was in a hurry, impatient mood, just that he was trying to not show it, but I could still tell. He told me the phone was still very good and that he only sold it because he needed quick cash to buy something else. Well, that was a good reason, so I didn't probe any further. After I bought the phone, I came home and looked at it carefully one more time. It was indeed in very good condition. There was no SIM card, so I couldn't test to see if that worked, so I told myself I would go tomorrow to my cousin to borrow his SIM card to test out the new phone. I put the phone on the table next to the couch in the living room and just went about my business. At night, while I was taking a shower, I suddenly heard a ringing. It then stopped after 5 rings. I was about to wonder who called, but then I suddenly remembered that my phone was broken. Well, that was weird, I thought. I don't have a phone, so maybe that was just my imagination. I listened very carefully again, but I didn't hear anything. That only made me more sure that I was just hearing things, so I put it at the back of my mind and just continued taking a shower. Nothing out of the ordinary happened after I got out of the shower. I was tired after a while, so I went up to my room to go to sleep. As I was lying down in bed thinking about life, I suddenly heard the phone ringing again in the living room. This could not be my imagination. I bolted up and went to the door to listen again. Yep, the ringing was definitely from the living room, and it was still ringing. Feeling very confused, I slowly trekked towards the sound. When I got to the living room, since it was dark, I could see the light shining from the new phone. Sitting right on top of the desk, I put it on. It still didn't stop ringing, so I made my way to the phone, and then, as I was about to grab it, it suddenly stopped ringing. The silence that followed was quite unnerving. I suddenly had goosebumps all over my body. I quickly grabbed the phone and opened it up to check, but there was no missing phone call at all. It was like nothing happened at all and was just my imagination, but I was sure that I actually saw the phone light up and ring. Feeling that maybe something might be off, I decided to put the phone in my car for the night. As I was walking away, I saw the headlights of my car blinking. It was like someone was turning off and on the high beam. I was confused, thinking to myself, my car never had an alarm system. Then, to my horror, I saw a black shadowy figure sitting in the car. When I slowly approached my car, the blinking headlights stopped and the figure disappeared. I checked my car and it was still locked. The next morning, I came out to check, but the phone was gone. My car was still locked, but the only thing missing was the phone. Feeling more confused than anything and remembering what happened the last night, I decided to just forget about the whole thing. Maybe the phone really was haunted, and maybe I got lucky when I decided to put it in the car instead of inside the house. I will never know, but I'm glad that nothing like that happened again. I was afraid for a few days that maybe weird stuff might still happen even without the phone, but I was very relieved to see that I was worrying for nothing.